Hey, we're back. It's that show you look for every week with our resident raconteur, our storyteller in town, the man who seems to be connected to everybody. But the guy who isn't here today, he's off in the world. It's like that TV, what was the game, Where in the World is Waldo? Where in the world is Rod Gontos today here? Instead, we have a guest host sitting in, Chef Pascal. Welcome, sir, to the show.
Thank you.
And as fitting a famous chef like yourself, you've brought in another famous chef here in Orange County. Introduce your guest here.
Yes, so my good friend, it's not just another restaurateur, it's a very good friend for many years, Bruno Serato. And he owns a very successful restaurant in Anaheim. It's called the White House. And he has a lot of story to tell us, and not only about cooking, running a restaurant. He's one of the most professional restaurateur in the country. For sure.
And he's not just Bruno Serato; he is Sir Bruno. We got to get that correct
Yes,
here.
correct.
How did you get the Sir Bruno?
Oh well, I got knighted. That's what you get.
How do you say that? How do you say that humbly? How do you say that? I got
I think
knighted.
when I tell people so, I always tell people you have to bow when you talk to me from now on. I'm just joking because it's just fun things to say. But the first time I got knighted by the president of Italy some years ago.
Wow.
Because of what I do in my foundation, which is called Caterina's Club. I mean, the president of Italy only give this award to certain type of people. I was lucky enough to be selected. And on the second time, I got knighted a second time. But
Goodness.
the former royal family of Italy, the Savoy, as you know, before World War II, it was the Kingdom of Italy,
Yes,
Savoia family,
exactly.
which their name is all over Europe.
Kingdom
for
in
the
Sardinia too, I think. Weren't they originally the Savoys
Sardinia,
from
Napoli, Aosta. They were I think it's one of the oldest royal family in Europe,
Right.
which is huge. Even the prince find out what I was doing and everything, and they decide to knighted me. I got knighted 2 times. But I was a little bit disappointed because I was hoping to get a horse. They never give me a horse.
They
They
didn't
give
give
me
you a
the
horse?
medals, which
Wow.
I thank them both.
I thought every knight gets a horse, and
I
then you
was as expecting. I run outside on
and
my
a big
parking
lance,
lot,
and maybe a what do you call it? A page, somebody that helps you.
Can you ride a horse?
But if I tell you the story, when I got knighted by the president of Italy, the Italian consul did the ceremony at my restaurant. Well, one of my waitress and waiter and managers surprised me. They rent a horse for that day. Have you never seen a restaurateur come on top of a horse in his own restaurant?
Never.
on the front?
Never.
In fact, I think I was on the front page of the Orange County Register that day. But the funny thing is that I could not come out of the horses. It was so tall. I was scared. I have 3-4 waiter, 2 busboys, rounded the horse, helped me out to come down with this white horse. But it was fun, and that's the way I got knighted by 2 major institutions of my country.
Wow.
Well, what we have to say, it's not only a restaurateur, he's just a generous person. And every day of his life, he just take care of people who needs, for family, for kids. How many meals do you serve every day?
Right now, we're on average over 5,000 meals,
5,000. Oh my
which
goodness.
is, if I put a plate with pasta, with chicken, with vegetable and bread, that could be 3 meals on its own. And we didn't start with 5,000. We used to do 50 to 100 at the beginning 19 years ago, and we went up to 300, 400,000. But now we are 3,000 to 5,000 a day.
Tell that story. You've been in here years ago on OC Talk Radio, on Rod's first version of his show. And I still remember the story, which was something like you had kids come up to the back door of the restaurant begging for food. And so, all right, give them a little pasta. We got a little pasta left over. And pretty soon 20 more kids show up, and then 50 more kids show up. And they're living in hotels around Anaheim. You didn't even know there were hotel kids There, I don't know their hotel.
Motel, yes.
Motel,
Motel,
yes.
motel. Yeah, but the first one was at the Boys Girls Club of Anaheim.
Okay.
I was there with my mom. My mom is from Verona, north of Italy. She was here in the winter time.
She's the one you named this after, Caterina's Club.
Caterina is her name, foundation's name about her, and everything I do is for her. She's my soul, my heart, my love, everything that I own is thanks to her. Anyway, I went to Boys Girls Club. I was an 8-year-old kid eating potato chips, normal things to see a kid. Till when the director, Mike Baker, then told me that that was probably his own dinner because he could probably live in a motel room.
Wow.
I said,
His
why?
only dinner is the potato chips he's eating at.
Yeah, because remember, motel room has no kitchen.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you go back from Boys Girls Club at 5 p.m., mom cannot even cook for him. And a lot of time in a motel is drug addict, prostitution, etc. But even if a mom is a good mom,
Right.
could not cook because there's no kitchen. I was translating in Italian to my mom. And first thing she told me, she said, "Why don't you feed him some pasta, Bruno?" I said, okay. That was the first one. April 18, 2005. And the little boy was named Billy. Still remember him. Think about 3 months ago, we did a big celebration regarding that. Because we did a celebration of the 10 million meal
Oh,
already
my
served.
goodness. 10 million meals.
You received an award, no? For that.
I received the presidential award for what I do for my charity, which was an award which is respected because it's from the President of the United States of America. But that day I was some media, I have 200 kids come at the restaurant because I love to bring them to the restaurant because they don't have an opportunity to eat to a restaurant like the White House. They probably will never had it till when they are older and successful in their own life. I mean, to bring those kids, come to my restaurant. You and I, Pascal, has eaten so many times, and a lot of celebrities has eaten so many times. President of the United States has eaten there also, and regular customer from Orange County or my friends has eaten so many times, but those kids could never afford it to come to. But I mean, to invite them there 2-3 times a year is my favorite part. The day when I celebrated the 10 million meal, Billy, the first kid, came out of the cake.
Wow.
I mean, when he came, we look at each other, we both cry. 19 years ago, so a kid, and today is 28.
Wow.
On top of it, he worked for the city of Anaheim. He was working for social service somewhere, I don't remember exactly where, but good. Good. Yes, like you could not have represent our children in the better way. Good boy. Then a tear on his eyes when he saw me so many years after. It's in my life, in my memory for life, forever. This kid.
So special.
All right,
This is Caterina,
we have
so-
a special guest who's coming in. I think we're going to get him on. We put him up. You can't see him in the studio here, but I put him up on the screen there. So we have the missing Rod Gantos is somewhere sailing. Where in the world is Rod Gantos today? Is he there? Oh, I don't hear him. Can you hear me?
I'm in Turkey.
You're in Turkey. You are a Turkey, or you're in Turkey?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
No, you're the turkey. I'm in Turkey. Where are the other turkeys? You got the two turkeys in the studio?
Yeah, you can't
We
see
have a
them.
French turkey and Italian turkey at the same table.
We can discuss with the best one.
You can't see us, but we can see you. You're up on the
Ciao
screen.
And salut.
Oh, don't try and speak Italian
That's
and
good.
French.
That's
here.
terrific.
Buongiorno, buongiorno.
Are you feeding? Buongiorno. I even have some live Turkish music happening in the background. I don't know if you can hear it or
Naturally, yeah. I'm sure there are girls swirling around doing
Yeah.
belly dances and everything here. The rad life.
How is
not. Oh, you know, you really need to get a little bit more global.
That's all I know.
How is the fishing? Is it good?
No, I have not been on the boat yet. We are going to go on the boat on Saturday for a week.
Oh, fantastic.
This is this private yacht that you guys have rented to go around the Mediterranean here.
A bunch of guys on a boat in the Greek islands. Don't make the joke. The jokes just write themselves.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know it was that kind of trip. Okay. So,
So I'm trying to get you guys on my YouTube. I see them.
yeah,
I see them.
yeah.
Yeah, it was really happy to see you guys
Yeah.
there. It was very nice that you guys are going to be on the show today. I just wanted to call and say hello. Bruno, it's nice to see you.
Thank you.
And Pascal, really two great guys. I know you both. I'm really, really happy that you were able to be on the show.
Thank you.
Now, Rod, you have to settle the difference. It already started before the show here. You called.
Of course, I knew it was going to start when I did the teaser for social media.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to start.
So
with these two.
here's what started in the show here. Pascal, of course, you honored him with the nickname the Goat of
No,
Orange County.
no, Bruno, I am not responsible.
Now,
He came on
Bruno.
the show- He came on the show, and I said, the original guy who started the French thing, and he goes, no, I am a goat. I said, okay, you are a goat. So he named himself. So I'm not responsible.
So now, who's the goat? Have we got two goats here, or have we got? Is
The
there a-
nice thing about being near the Greek islands and near Italy and near France, south of France, all this stuff is, the more the goats, the better.
a goat herd? We got a herd of goats here.
Well, you have a French
So I'm
goat.
really happy to see both goats there
French
because
goat
they
and
really
Italian
are both
goat, yeah.
goats.
Yeah.
And then you have to settle one other thing here because they're talking about. I know we got into pizza. Had some time to kill, and I said, is Italian pizza the same thing? I hear it's not. And Bruno says, "Oh my goodness, the greatest pizza in the world, literally, is from his little hometown in Italy." And then Chef Pascal says he must have some French in him here. Because everybody's trying to say they got the best pizza, and I'm thinking it's Detroit or Chicago. What do I know?
Hello.
Well, no, but it's okay. What do you know? You're from the Midwest. That's all.
That's all I know about pizza, Detroit and
We do
Chicago
have-
style.
We do have some great pizza in France too.
I didn't know that. See?
From Italian
Yeah.
chefs.
You thought the fries were French fries? They call them frites in France. They don't call them French fries.
Frit.
I don't even know where
It
this
is
stuff
so
comes
good
from.
to see you guys both. Seriously, I cannot believe I am out of town and you guys are both on the show.
They're on the
It's
show.
like fantastic to see you. So I'm going to be very quiet. Pascal, thank you for hosting the show. Bruno,
My
it
pleasure.
really is great to see you. It's been too long, my friend.
Thank you.
And I think last time I saw you was Ashley Aiken's campaign kickoff at your restaurant.
Probably, yeah.
before
She's
last
a
time
very
around.
good friend, yeah.
Yes, I know.
The mayor of
And
Anaheim,
so
for
I'm
those
gonna
that
be
don't
quiet.
know.
And I'm going to be an audience today.
Okay.
And I'm going to watch the show. And if you want to, I'll stay on
Okay.
Zoom. If you want to put me back on, that's great. But enjoy the show, guys. Have a great time. Thank you for both being here. It really is a lot of fun for me to be
Have
watching
fun
you
in Turkey.
from Turkey. I will bring some stuff back from the bazaar. I'm going to the bazaar tomorrow. So any special spices, anything you guys want from Turkey, send me a shopping list.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't
Sounds
even know
good.
what to ask for. I've never been to Turkey. I don't know what even is there.
So much choice.
And
now.
and one last thing, Pascal and Bruno, do not let Paul jump in too much. Tell him to shush, or I will tell him to shush from Turkey.
I'm enjoying the conversation already. They were talking about
All right, well,
how.
get back to it, guys.
All right.
Wonderful to see you. I'm gonna keep
Ciao.
watching on YouTube. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
So I have a couple of questions that maybe we can share with the audience. Because,
Yes.
Bruno, can you tell us, or what can you tell us about who made you come to the US?
There you go.
My sister.
Okay.
My elderly sister, we are 7 siblings at home. She married an American GI, which was based in Vicenza. It's a huge American army base, which a lot of people knows, Caterina Ederle. She married him, was fiancée with him and everything. After a few years, so they came back home where my brother-in-law from, which was West Covina then. And I came one in 1975 to visit her, vacationing. She buy me the ticket because I had no money. And but I had to go back to Italy because I had to go to the Air Force. It's mandatory in Europe. Anyway, when I came back from Air Force, I walked to a few restaurants, Lake of Garda, Verona, where I come from. But at one point in 1980, I was thinking because I speak French, because mom and dad live in France for a long time, and I was born there by mistake, but I still love France.
You mean by mistake born in France or by mistake?
By mistake born in France. Mom and dad had fun then anyway, but I speak French, I speak Italian. I say, if I do speak English, I can find a job in a resort and make so much more money speaking three languages. That was my goal. Then I called my sister here, which now live in Walnut by Diamond Bar. I said, Stella, if I come over for some weeks, little bit of time to learn English, would you host me? Because I have no money. I came to this country with 200. And she said, sure. She was happy to have a younger brother come to stay with her and her husband and my niece and nephew, which Silvano, which is my GM now, he was 5 years old then. It's stay with her, but to be honest with you, since the age of 14, probably you too, Pascal, because I know us restaurateurs, what we do in our life. We work 14, 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. Then after a few weeks, I was in California. It was nice, enjoying sunshine. She take me to Knoxbury Farm, Disneyland, etc. But after a few weeks, I was bored. I want to work. I say, can I work? She say, why don't you want to enjoy? I say, I'm bored. I mean, I used to wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning, work till 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, she said, let's look around. I say, you know what? There's a nice French restaurant who just opened in Brea.
La Vie en Rose?
La Vie en Rose.
Fantastic.
I mean, I went to apply there, and it was 2-3 amazing chefs. Jean-Pierre Sauvager, Pierre Dubré, Francis Perrault. I went there apply, and they tell my sister, because I could not understand English, I didn't speak, they say, well, he has experience in Italy, but he doesn't speak English. The only job we can give him is a dishwasher. My sister was embarrassed to tell me that, but when she told me, I was like, cool, great, because that restaurant was magnificent. I mean, anyone out there who saw La Vie en Rose, they know what I'm talking about.
Does Louis,
Louis Lolaire was not the owner yet. Okay. He came 4 years after I was there. But that building was like a French Normandy house.
And what year is this?
1980. 1980. October 1980. I went there the next day. The French chef, gave me the dishwasher position. But the second day, the chef looked at me, it's like, what is this guy doing here? Just a dishwasher. He has the style, you can tell. Obviously, I'm Italian, I have the style, right? Not the French boy, you know. I'm just kidding.
You're getting there.
They put me as a busboy. Wow. And I was a busboy, but as a busboy, I was making more than a waiter in Italy. Wow. Then I decided to stay a little longer. And after 6, 7, 8 months, my English improved a little bit. Some people say never did, but I don't believe them. And they give me promotion as a waiter. And that is when I saw the money. It was I call the Ronald Reagan years. You know, the money were coming in. People were spending like crazy. And the tips was amazing. Then my tips in 1 month was 5, 6 times of my salary in Italy. I said, why going back? Yes, I miss my family, I miss mom and everybody also, but I was making an amazing amount of money. And I got lucky because in 3, 4 years' time, I got promoted as a Maître d'. Won Maître d' of the Year in South California. It was 1985. You remember the South California restaurant wider? That was the Academy Award for our business. I remember Lafayette, Elmont won Chef of the Year, and Bruno something was the chef of the restaurant at the Meridian Hotel, Antoine.
Bruno Serato.
Yeah, and I won Maître d' of the Year. I mean, that exploded. That was my first award, and that exploded on me, and that's the reason I came to America.
But it is when we won the World Cup football, soccer.
You have to talk about.
He's always trying to bring in
now.
French and Italy rivalries here.
Okay, well, it was the two. One bad one and one a good one. The bad one is when Italy lost, and the good one is when Zidane kick with his head, or Italian defenseman.
I'm trying to get you two to talk like friends, like you are, and he keeps challenging you in all this Italian.
Sure.
Italy
That's
stuff
why
here.
we are between Italy and France.
But you know what? When French play against Brazil, I was happy then French won anyway. I have a little French blood, even if I don't. But living in France for 10 years, and I just come back. I was there 2 years ago. Let me tell a small story of the family. I decided to take all my brother and sister to the small village north of Charles de Gaulle Airport, which is an hour drive, to a village which, when I used to live there with mom and dad, was 200 people. Now it's probably 150, counting dog and cat. But I decided to take brother and sister there together to remember where mom and dad lived for 15 years. Because after World War II, 1951, for the first 5 years they stayed in Italy, but they could not find job. I mean, they went there, pick up potatoes and beets. In north of France, it's still the same, potatoes and beets. Then I said to my brothers and sisters, like, why don't we go there for a few days to see our mom and dad? Because we were young when we came back to Italy in Verona. And believe me, that week was one of the best weeks in our entire life. Walk in a village, then you have not been there for 50 years. The people recognize us because they see 7 kids, not too many people, families. They came, are you the Serato family? People cry and hug. The most emotional moment of my entire life was to be there with my brother and sister, to remember moment of school, beginning of our childhood, the poverty. We were so poor. We have no clothes. People from across the street give clothes to mom and dad. We eat pasta for lunch every day because mom and dad have no money. But we were the happiest kids ever.
So where did you learn to cook? I don't know if I learned where Pascal learned. If you told the story of you're from Brittany or something.
Normandy.
Normandy, yeah.
Beautiful place too.
And how did you learn to cook, Sir Bruno?
I did. Okay, when we came back 1967. Mom and dad finally decided to go back to their own country, where my grandma and uncle live. You know, they left France, went to Verona area. But it was difficult because father was the only one working, 7 kids and mom. It was extremely difficult money-wise. Somebody offered them to lease a restaurant for 5-6 years. I shouldn't call a restaurant. I should call mom and pop trattoria, a very cheap place. And mom improvised to be a chef. She was chef for 7 kids, and now she has to be chef for people come to pay and to support family.
Great.
I was her assistant. That was my first feet in a wet kitchen.
And what did she cook? What? Because there's different cuisines in different parts of Italy, right?
Well, I think every city in Italy has a different. I tell people never compare Italian restaurant, especially in Orange County. When people, that one is better, that one is less, I say, each Italian city has their own way to cook their own food. I mean, never compare Italian restaurant. I can be good, but for somebody else, I can be bad. As an example, I have Antonello, a good friend of mine, on a great Italian restaurant, but don't compare what he does with me. He does an amazing job, but he probably do different than what I do because we are from 2 different areas. I mean, mom was cooking Veneto area, like the region, simple, but was working, it was making money. I was a busboy, I was the dishwasher, I was a bartender. I used to do the bedroom because we have 5 rental rooms upstairs. I used to be in the kitchen with her. I used to be the cleaning boy because I was cleaning the window, the floor.
Nothing changed.
Nothing changed.
Jay's still doing all that.
Well, you know that, Pascal. Start 9:30 in the morning and close the bar at 2 a.m.
Wow.
That was the beginning to be in my restaurant business, basically, and I never left from. I was 14 years old.
So how do we move up a little bit? How does the White House get born? Because the White House, like Pascal's, was a fixture, still is a fixture. And I don't know how many years you've been there in Anaheim.
Well, I came to America in 1980. I mentioned I was Metro D of the Year in 85. My name started to go around in South California because, like I mentioned, it was an Academy Award for me to win an Oscar at that level. People start to call me, you want a job, you want a job, you want a job. I remember the Hilton Hotel one time offered me $20,000 more a year
Wow.
to work for them. But then I was working for Louis Lolaire, which he bought the rest in 84. Then I went to talk to him because I'm an honest guy. What you see, what you get. Don't say Bruno lie because I never do. I talked to Louis. I said, this Hilton offered me $20,000 because they saw my name, blah, 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 blah. And Louis said, Bruno, I can never afford you to pay this kind of money, obviously. As a restaurateur, singer. I said, okay, well, say, let me know by tomorrow because if I was leaving him, he would need to, I was his right hand. I remember Louis hurt himself. He fell with 3-4 bottles of wine on his arm. He cut all his tendon. He was out of job for 3-4 months. I take care of everything. It was not anymore 14 hours. It was 20 hours a day to work then. But anyway, I say, okay, I'll let you know tomorrow. I went home. I talked to my sister. My sister said, 20K is a lot, bro. I said, I know. The next morning I wake up. I went to Louis. I say, I decided to stay. He said, why? Here I'm the Prince of la Vie en Rose. I don't want to lose my crown because I was doing everything I want. I love my customer. I love my crew. Money was never an object important to my life. I refused 20K to stay à la vie.
Wow.
And that was a gift because 2 years later, a friend of mine was the manager of the White House in Anaheim. Hey, Bruno, the restaurant's for sales. Why don't you try to buy? I said, you out of your mind? I came with $200 6 years ago. I still have 150 maybe now, right? After a few times he called, I came to the White House. I love the place. It has a great, you get the feeling. You see the place, you can imagine things, but it was a dream. I mean, you have no money. How can you buy $1 million restaurant? No way it was there. But after 3 months, the guy kept calling me. I went to Louis. I said, Louis, that restaurant is beautiful. I mean, it has a beauty. It's 1909 building. It's gorgeous. Used to be a former house for a doctor. Louis came to see with his wife, came back, I said, well, what would you like to do? I said, well, I cannot do French because you are French. I don't want to compete. Let's do Italian. That was the beginning. Talked to the owner, an amazing man, Jim and Bobby Stovall. And they own a lot of motel in Anaheim then. Motel, Stovall Inn. I'm sure that a lot of people know his name. We went to talk to him. And he gave us the price. I was at his office with Louis. We look at him. And he looked at me in the eyes. He asked me how much money I had. My answer was the most honest answer I never gave to anybody in my entire life. My answer was like, I don't have any money.
I want to buy this restaurant, but I don't have any money.
Exactly what happened. Harder to believe it. Jim was, in the old days, handshake in the market. You buy cow, you buy horses, you buy property on a handshake with no lawyer. That's what happened to me.
This was 1987?
1980. No, 1987. 80 I come to America, 1987.
Website here, yeah.
I mean, it's not that long ago, but it's still long ago, and that don't happen anymore in 87.
So I want you both to talk about what was Orange County cuisine like in 1987. That's about when I came to town here from up in L.A., and this seemed like to me, I'd been in the entertainment business, so I'm used to going out to fancy restaurants on Sunset and Beverly Hills, and I was out with celebrities. It was a waste town. It was a ghost town for me. There wasn't a lot here.
There was few of them, right, Pascal?
Well, but Orange County was not known for its food.
Yeah.
No.
And
Fast food, yes, tons of fast food. Yeah.
a lot of chain restaurants.
A lot of restaurant chains still here.
I think Antonello was the first Italian restaurant and bring the fine cuisine in Orange County. Yeah. And what year did you come to do your cuisine, Pascal, which you are an amazing one?
Actually, I started in a restaurant that was built by the same architect as La Vie en Rose at Chantecler.
À Chantecler, I remember.
Chantecler, yeah. Another one I've heard of, yeah.
And so I came in 1984 and opened my first restaurant in 1988.
So,
I mean, we are one of the first ones.
Yeah. And what I noticed when I came, and probably you noticed that too, in 1984, 85, people who own restaurants, even chefs, will go to restaurants and say, oh, that doesn't taste French, that doesn't taste Italian. The response at that time said, well, they don't know anything, so we don't care.
Right.
See what I mean? But things change. People are traveling with the food network, things like that now, and you have real want to be chef in your kitchen, and they want to know the real way
Right.
to. So this is why your food can
Because it seems like what comes first? Do you have to have the crowd that can appreciate good cuisine, or do you teach
It's not
people
easy.
to?
you have to take care of them.
You have to
You have to greet
personality
them.
with them.
The
yeah.
other day, I went to an event at this place at the White House, and there was many people around. The first person to greet me, that was Bruno. Where you come from?
That's the old style.
That's it. And he also he greet you first, and then he said goodbye at the door when you leave. That's
Right
okay.
now, you see a lot of management, and they change continuously, and that's a sad because some restaurants deserve to get some credit, but when you change management all the time, you change crew all the time, you don't have the feel. You don't feel like at home. You come to my place. Silvano worked with me for 40 years, 37. Chef 37. I have maybe 20 crews work at least 30 years. I mean, you come to the restaurant, we know you are, we welcome you, and it's a different. Now you go to a restaurant, a lot of don't give a damn who you are and what
Well,
you do.
because it's changed. Even the fancy restaurants are owned by
But the
some
culture
company.
improved in Orange County. I mean, I remember
Dramatically.
I used to sell only vodka martini for lunch and for dinner,
Hmm.
one glass of wine, and one bottle if we were lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And now the culture on the wine also is huge. It used to be just Roberto Mondavi, remember? And when you sell one or two
I
bottles at
don't
night,
remember.
it's like,
I never
wow.
served Mondavi wine. in my
Okay.
restaurant.
I think it was the only one left.
Mondavi was big. Come on, everybody had that.
He
I
was,
was
he
the only one you knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Mondavi.
But I always made the point that I don't want to have wine that you can find in in markets.
Yeah,
I
that's
always try
now
to
it's
look for the
difficult,
boutique wine.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, but the thing is, we also share staff. I see
Really?
servers that work for me, they
Yeah.
work for Bruno, and
Because that was I never on your caliber here, but I had a just more of what I kind of liked, a sports bar, an Irish pub in Mission Viejo called Kelly McHugh's, and we built another one out, and we tried to build one out in San Bernardino, and the problem was, now we were doing this is the mid '80s, we were doing upscale tequilas and vodka, 50 beers. We were one of the early ones doing all that stuff. We're not just going to serve Budweiser and Mondavi wine here. We're going to try and serve stuff you've never seen, because if you like it, you got to come back here. We're going to educate you. Not only was it hard to educate the public, it was hard to get staff. Nobody had ever worked in any. We're not even fine dining. We were just a step up.
Well, let's talk about right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, we just talk about it.
Yeah.
We need to go back to that staff training, even service training.
This weekend I just did a celebration of life of Chick Marshall, from Mr. Stocks. As we know, it was an
I was there.
institution.
Mr. Stocks, there was another
Yeah.
one that used to be around forever.
And
that people,
one thing I mentioned is like the respect then some restaurateur has, like I have with you, Pascal, with Antonio, Louis Levy, and a few other ones, is like when a waiter will apply to our place, we will make a phone call, say, he say work for you. I say, what you think? Well, we can never talk bad about it. I just say, I will not hire him, or yes, I will rehire him.
Right.
And that is, you make your own
That's what you can
opinion.
say.
But this is the respect to the good old way restaurateur. Now, they apply, they see they work somewhere, they don't even make a phone call to ask, should we hire him or not? Because it's things that sometimes I feel like, wow, during the old days, us, each other, we call each other too.
When I was a server, I used to ask server, I bring him a bottle of wine, and the wine opener say, open that bottle, and serve me. You see right away the guy.
Is he
is
fumbling?
professional.
Yeah.
When you close, you remember you sent me JB, the waiter?
Yeah.
Which I say yes because you asked me. I didn't mean interview him. We just hire him because you say, Bruno, you're going to be happy. Unfortunately, he just decided to go back to France.
Yeah,
But he
true
said he might come back
professional.
on a winter time. That was one of the best things, to hire somebody without even interview him. It turned out to be one of the best waiter ever. And that is the respect of your own crew. Like we say early, when you see people, you welcome them, you hug them, kiss them. and you ask how you're doing.
You
and
kissed him. You get in trouble today if you kissed him. Wait.
No, he
No.
even kiss me.
Yeah, I kiss Pascal every time
Oh,
I
my
see
goodness.
him.
But
But
he-
it's a huge thing to love your crew, and you love the people.
somebody told
surrounding.
me about those days and before that it was a profession to be a waiter, not just a chef, but to be a waiter. There were people that it was a dignified profession. You earned a good living, particularly in an upscale restaurant. You knew your customers. You got tipped well. You got paid well, and you could feed your family on it. Those days, I'm not sure are around anymore. Is there professional staff, or are they just kids going through some phase and they worked at McDonald's and now they want to work at your restaurant here?
Well, we do have in Italy. We serve the professional waiter. They go to school classes to learn how to be a good waiter, to serve well. Here, it was much better when they did not have to pay the tax on the tips,
Right.
because they used to make, like I used to when I was a waiter, make a great amount of money.
That's where you
I
made
mean,
most of your money. Yeah. Right.
we make so much money. I want to be a waiter. I want to make money because I was making a lot of money when I was a
Right.
waiter. But this day of age, not too many want to be waiters. In Europe, it's almost impossible to find good one anymore. But now you have to take people. But the way I work right now is to work on their personality. If I see someone with great personality, I give them a chance. But I wish then we have a professional institution here in Orange County
We're
then
working on
train. Well, Pascal, if you work on that, I'm going to give you my first gold medal to you because I would love to call you up, say, Pascal, I need a two-waiter. Now, if you work on that, as soon you're ready, as soon you have it, believe me, we'll not be the only one.
I'm going to give you an example just as a customer that drives me crazy. You go into a nice restaurant like we're talking about here, like the White House, and there's a bunch of stuff maybe I'm not familiar with. Food, wine. I say, tell me about that. And they say, I don't know. People like it.
Oh, let me ask the chef.
Let me ask the chef.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't know, and the one that really ticks me off, if I go into a restaurant and I say, what's the special today? And they say, I don't know. You don't know the special at your own restaurant today here? You're just, all you do is you're just a order taker.
Oh, they say everything is special.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm always marvel. Even at the little place I had, I said, everybody's got to know the special of the day. And
It's not
everybody's-
like it used to be.
Yeah,
It's not like it used to be because you have to adapt yourself. I just come back, like I mentioned, Europe. Some restaurants close dining rooms because they cannot find waiter.
Wow.
Waiter and waiters do not want to work on the weekends because they want to go to the club or to their boyfriend and girlfriend.
Right.
When you see what's going on in the waiter position in Italy is scary.
Yeah, but the waiters are luckier here because they get
Tips.
tips.
Yeah.
In Europe, they get salaries.
Yeah.
And it's not
right.
much. I did an
yeah.
interview on a newspaper
yeah.
last year. Lot of restaurateurs in the area were not happy about that interview, but I was honest. I said my waiter in America made 4 times more than a waiter in Italy. On the weekend, give them $100 extra on Saturday night. You will see you probably find one.
Yeah.
And I keep saying that to a lot of people in Italy. Try to do that way, be better. And here, if we don't tax the waiter, they're going to make like I used to do in the 80 and the 90, like I don't remember when they tax their tips, but a lot of people will want to be a waiter and make that is a salary of a doctor almost.
So I went to a restaurant near my house, not nearly the caliber that you're talking, but a nicer restaurant. And young guys there, a lot of personality, and we started asking about some of the food that I had never seen before. Or just tell me about this dish. And he said, I've never tried it. And I thought, don't you have times where you make everybody try all these things? They don't have to like it, I always said, but they have to understand it. They say, well, personally, I don't like whatever fish or something here, but here's what it tastes like. Here's how I can describe it. If you can't describe it, how can you sell it?
The most successful restaurants are the restaurants that do briefing before
Yes.
lunch, before dinner.
Right.
The chef come out, the manager, the maitre d' there, and they talk about this is what we're going to do today. This is a special. And you can even say, okay, we're this special wine that want you to give a little test to the customers and see if they like it. And if they like it, then we keep it on the wine list. All these things. It's like you have to sell.
Exactly.
Is very
I'll give you one silly example, and this is not nearly on your caliber here, but again, we had these kind of upscale Irish pubs, and we have 40 beers, and we had all this stuff, crazy stuff. And one day I went to one of our waitresses, and I said, "You're not selling anything. You're just taking orders.
Yeah.
We got all these crazy things to try." She said, "Well, I don't like beer." I said, "You're working in a restaurant. We got 40 beers. You got it." So we brought everybody together. Everybody's going to try it. I don't care if you spit it out. You got to at least know what it tastes like. And she found one. You'll laugh. It was a Framboise Lambic that we had.
Really, I
And
love it.
and it's to her it was like champagne, and she never had something like that. She used to sell so much of that stuff that Southern Wines and Spirits president or vice president of the region came out to our club and say, "We sell 4 cases of this a month in all of Southern California. You're selling 4 cases a week." And I said, "Because this girl, she's cute, she loves it, she gets everybody to try it."
And it's a good beer.
It's a good beer, yeah. But so do you have that same experience? Do you have to teach people about your food so they can teach others?
Keeping doing every day. It's not easy. Like us, when I was a waiter, I knew every single dishes on the menu.
Right.
Right now, like you have turnover, you have your steady crew that work for you for a long time. With them, you don't worry about.
And service is so much easier. Everything is on plate now. We used to
Right.
do table sides.
Yes,
Now
right.
I miss the time of table sides.
I used to love that. I've done
it's
so
fantastic.
many.
Talk about it, because that's a rare date.
Yeah.
Now everything
Who
comes
knows-
out on the plate.
Who
and
knows how to debone a Dover sole? you
Yeah,
know?
forget
It's-
it about.
I don't.
It's crazy.
Now you have to be pleased with what you can get. And honestly, in my own restaurant too, sometimes I say like, I close one eye because I don't want to open both of them. And that's what you have to do. But one of the best regarding experience, regarding job, the French waiter I was talking about, JB, one night he served me with 7, 8 of my guests. And I think it was the first time he really served me the whole dinner. At the end of the dinner, I look at him, and he was working for me for already 4 or 5 months. I said, JP, I have to tell you, I said, you did an amazing job at our table. And my waiter take care of me or they don't care because, I'm the owner. They say, "Oh, Bruno, doesn't matter, But JB came to me and said, "Well, Bruno, I have a great experience in the business." I said, "Yes, I know." He said, "But you don't know what kind of experience I have." No, I just know you have a good experience. You work for Pascal. No, I was the busboy at the Last Supper of Jesus Christ.
You were? Wow, okay.
I laugh.
I know, it's
I still
amazing.
laugh about today.
But it's not a bad answer. Like we respect chef and sous chef,
Yeah.
and cooks. I try to respect more the dishwasher.
Oh, that I love
I
it.
mean, it's very important.
Very good.
Dishwasher is a center of your restaurant. If we don't clean dishes
And pick them up quickly, and busboys keep the tables
It's
clean
okay.
and all that.
Yeah.
But don't you go in? I see it all the time. We go into a restaurant and there's still food on the table next to me and stuff here. They don't pick it up right away. Or what drives me crazy is at the end of the meal, they don't clear before we do
Yeah, I
the
know
presentation of the dessert or whatever here.
You walk in a restaurant and you see mess on every
Yeah.
table.
That's
when,
crazy.
when I come to the end of the meal, maybe I'm old school. My dad used to say that clean the table first. Now we'll get dessert or after dinner drinks or whatever.
Do you want to work for me for a while?
I'd love to. I grew up having some of the things. My father liked to. He was an executive Chrysler, so he liked to go out and have fine dining. He didn't grow up in that world, but he appreciated it, and he would take me to this kind of.
Well,
place.
that's what Pascal and I grew up with. I mean, to do to the last minute detail. But these days of age, you keep up to repeat,
Repeat all the
and repeat.
We have young chef now. I'm tired of repeating things. Well, if you want to stay in business, you're going to repeat the rest of your life.
Yes,
All of it,
exactly.
Every day the same thing.
Because it's got to be particular. Because I'm sorry to say, customers are so fussy. You get one bad meal, you might not go back.
But if
or one bad experience.
I don't think they're fussy. You have to give them what they demand.
Yeah.
And for me, my favorite customer is the most demanding customer. Why? Because they give me the challenge. And once you achieve that challenge,
Yes.
you have that customer forever.
That's probably true. Because if I find a place that gives me what I'm looking for,
Yeah.
because I'm going out, I don't want to eat what I eat at home. I don't want to clean the dishes. I want to have a show. Put on a show. Show me what you do.
But the simple good morning or good afternoon or good night, thank you.
Oh, I
it
agree.
doesn't take much to say good night, thank you.
Or a kiss.
I mean,
A kiss. Well,
well,
I don't know. I don't know if I
I
can get
think
away with
people
that
knows
anymore.
me. They know what I do because
I'm glad to hear that, because even in my little place, I used to make a habit of before I left, I would say goodnight or goodbye to everybody, down to the dishwasher, down to the busboys, everybody here. I didn't want them to
We are
feel.
like, so Bruno is the same. I don't go straight to the exit. I
Yeah.
go to my little one.
Right.
And
But that's what happened there. It turned into chains. It just turned into big corporations, and they're trying to just crank it out like a
The
assembly line.
soul is not the way it used to
people,
be.
people sold.
The soul is not the same. I mean, not only in our business, but
Also,
the
it comes
soul,
from the
I mean,
owner.
Yes.
It comes from management.
Always.
If you have a good manager that cares, a manager that act like a owner of a restaurant, then the restaurant is going to be successful. But if he's just, well, it's just a job. It's not
Can
that-
you sell the? And this is a horrible question, but can you sell these restaurants someday, or is it too tied to yourself? It's Bruno's place. It's Chef Pascal's place, and if somebody else takes it over, it's not the same place.
I don't think it will never be the same the day I sell my restaurant. I'm 100% sure. There's one small chance that my nephew Sylvain is my GM, and when I decide to stop, I will give it to him
he
because
know
that's
that?
my right hand.
So, Bono,
I
you
don't tell
listening?
him. Shh, can you turn off the radio, please?
Are you listening?
Can you cut and make sure there's
Maybe
No.
tomorrow he's going to quit.
Yeah.
the good things about Silvano, he knows my customer, he knows my friend, he knows
Yeah.
the crew. And I mean,
He,
he has the
he act like you.
Yeah,
Same-
in fact, some people
like-
think he's my own son
like a
because he's
bee.
even
You just
walk
go
like me.
Right.
everywhere.
I mean, he has a chance. He has a chance the day I say, that's it, which I'll probably be 120 that day. But
Is that the age of
he
retirement
has
now?
a chance to keep going and keep the restaurant successful because he knows every corner of what I like.
Yeah.
And that, I have to give him credit for that because when I go to Europe, I will not go relax if I didn't know I have Silvano at the door or to take care of my people. I mean, Silvano has the chance. If I did not have Silvano, no, the restaurant will not be what he is today.
So there's two things. Now I know why Bruno is so generous. Knowing that when he was young, his family was struggling.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of a payback.
Yeah.
So he's
It's a
successful.
beautiful story.
And yeah, so he wants to give back to the kids and family that in need. And that's
And the fact people ask me why I do what I do, I say, I wear clothes from people across the street because mom and dad they don't have money. I eat pasta because they could not afford anything else. And people always give to mom and dad because we were 7 kids. I mean, you'll never forget. And in fact, on Facebook a few years ago, I find out a guy, which was the son of that family. They used to come from Paris to this farmhouse in vacation for the summer, give close to my mom. It was kind of weird when he answered me, but I say, I don't want anything from you, just relax. I just want to say thanks to you, to your family for what they done to my mom and dad, because they gave us a lot of clothes. And he realized what I was trying to do, say, oh, thanks for saying that. Could never forget where you come from.
And I don't want to bring back bad news, but a few years ago, your restaurant was catch on fire, and that's the first of Bruno, especially the hardship of his young time, give him the power to never give up, and say, okay, we're going to take care of it.
I shouldn't say this, but I thought it was the end. I mean, it was
me
a
too.
devastating
He
fire.
cried.
Yeah.
He cried when
You should have seen me at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I think it was in Niagara Falls in my restaurant by me because it was one of the most devastating moment in my life beside the loss of my mom but I was feeling guilty. I tell a few people there. I was crying so much. It's like, my God, I'm crying almost as much when mom died. And what's my mom for me? But that day was over. But my brother called me. Could not even talk to them because I was crying so much. But I was already planned to go back home in Italy. I was like, that's it. No way I can rebuild and no way I can do it. But
you
the
recover
next day, I was able to use the kitchen at the Christ Cathedral, thanks to the bishop van.
Right.
He said, you need a kitchen to cook for the kids? And that gave me the first hope, the first things that's like, oh my God. And when I served the kids the next day, I didn't lose one day serving the pasta to the kids.
Wow.
Make me realize there's something out there still, even without my restaurant. After that, I used the kitchen for a year and a half at the Christ Cathedral, thanks to the bishop, obviously. But On the meantime, I start to think all the beautiful moment and my customer, the grandma, the great grandma, the great anniversary, birthday, prank, like so many good things happen. And they don't want evil fire to destroy the beauty, the goodness that happened to the restaurant.
Because I can tell, because I experience the same thing. We have so many people that come back say, "Oh, this is the place I was engaged."
Yes.
This is
Well, it was a fixture since the
Yeah.
80s here, yeah.
Every year we celebrate our anniversary with you. All these moments, we bring our family to you, on Father's Day, Mother's Day, all the time.
And that's the reason I decided to rebuild it. And I remember my mom, the first time she came, she was dancing on the steps. She said, on this restaurant, on this restaurant. And those moments.
She's still on the steps.
She's still on the step, watching, make sure I'm working.
Yeah, that's right.
But those moments, because also our customer, I tell people, we lose a lot of customers, We've been there for so many years, people died at their old age, or blah, blah, blah. It's almost losing a family member. Because your customers start to be your family member.
Yeah.
Every time somebody died, it hurt. Because they come every week, every month, every year. Then you grow with them more than your own family, because our own family doesn't see as much because we work all the time.
Yeah.
But our customer is a family member. Then when somebody is lost for something, we miss them. And that's the reason I decided to rebuild it, to keep the love that was down in the
You know what
place.
amazed me, though, is that you brought it back even bigger and better. And that surprised me. That rarely happens. Usually a fire is the end of the restaurant.
Oh, amazing.
Or something tragic
You
like
just
that happens.
flip around.
Because not only have you got to update all the equipment and you got to get building plan. It's got harder to build a restaurant today than it was.
It was not
then.
easy. I have to work another 50 years now to pay the mortgage.
That's why 120.
I think people tell me because
Wait, maybe your nephew doesn't
No,
want
he's got to wait a little longer.
I know. I said, don't look at the mortgage, okay? Because we have a few refinance in the last few years. And,
Yeah.
But
was
talking
a
about
big
the
number.
regular customers that come, now, they're not beautiful when you have the new generation coming in.
Yeah.
that's
I used to
just-
come with my dad. I used to come with
That's what I love them
parents.
more. A lot of them are my
Amazing.
friends, and I was great friends with their grandfather, with their mother, with their father. And we talk about memory and feeling and
You are part of the
story,
life. Yeah.
story they don't even know. When I tell them story of their own family member,
Yeah.
they don't even know. It's just like,
Because
wow.
when I grew up as a kid, and it was both French and Italian restaurants, there was someplace special that the family went for a birthday, for grandpa's retirement
Oh,
or something.
yeah.
You didn't even question. You said, this is
This
it.
is where we're going.
Yeah.
And whatever town I grew up in the Midwest, everybody had the same thing. There was usually it was usually a French or an Italian restaurant, that maybe both, but that was where you held special occasions for your whole life, for
And now,
20
Pascal, I
years.
have a question for you. Which cuisine is the best? The French
Oh,
one or the Italian
we're
one?
getting so close to the end here. We're
It's exactly. I
we're
want
gonna-
to ask him that
it's gonna
question
start a-
before we
it's
shut
gonna
down
fight.
the
I
microphone.
have a short answer.
Let me hear it. Just
right.
make sure.
You know, I have to tell you, when I'm in Italy,
Yeah,
that's the best cuisine. When I'm in France, that's the
that's
best
the
cuisine.
best cuisine.
Yeah,
That's a diplomatic answer.
I agree with you because a lot of people ask me that question. I say they're two of my favorite cuisine.
Yeah.
As like I cannot deny them, French and Italian. And the third one I go for Asian. I like Japanese
sure.
cuisine, but French, Italian are my two favorite.
Now, I
which-
didn't ask Pascal this because you predated a little bit of the Nouvelle cuisine, where they got rid of butter out of the French food, and they tried to cook with other things other
well,
than butter.
we had a bad rap that our French cuisine is so rich.
Yes, that was my take on it.
And
Right.
it was not. I never use flour in my sauces. I mean,
Okay.
so I always make sauces by reduction. And maybe a little bit of butter at the end, or maybe olive oil.
But
I
now
cook a
everybody
lot
wants
with
butter anymore.
Nobody
Everybody
wants
wants it.
We
butter.
cook with olive oil.
Yeah.
And then and people say, wow, is this French? Yeah, that's so French.
Yeah.
And talking about that, low advertising, Bruno, for me to cook with me on the 14th of July, Bastille Day, we're going to do a French-Italian
Where are you going to do this?
at the White House.
Oh
We
my
do.
goodness! Oh wow! Yeah, why did we say that to the end? On Bastille Day, you're going to combine your
Pascal is back at the White House as a menu. If
Guest
you
chef
love
there.
frog legs and if you love escargot,
I hope you have some good wine there.
Oh, Bordeaux for sure for you, Pascal.
He might have to bring over the wine.
No,
yeah.
no Barolo.
As you know, French Bastille Day is the biggest day in France.
Oh, huge.
Pascal and I are friends for 40 years.
You
I
may
mean,
even see both of us dancing can-can.
oh, we might do that. I have a few girls
But the
accordionists
things
with
that you
the
mentioned
boat.
there are things that were my favorite, my parents' favorite, frog legs, escargot, things like that. I don't know where I'd go buy any of those today.
Actually, it's going to be on the menu. We
Okay.
have- we have
And the
frog
same
leg.
thing, Bruno brings out things all the time. I subscribe to your newsletter, and you have these special tastes, and I say, wow, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Even
I
beef,
put
beef
back,
Wellington too, huh?
Beef went into the oven, but frog legs, which I was surprised, I put them on the menu 6-7 months ago. You don't find them anymore.
Never.
That's what they want. Escargot, big deal. And Chef Maurice, which was one of the best chefs of France for years, is his recipe, which is the recipe of La Vie en Rose, amazing one. But I always try to put some item, like lately I put a veal liver veneziana. Where
Veal
do you
liver.
feel
See, my
veal
mother
liver?
would kiss you for that because I hated liver. She
Do
was
you
always.
know how many people order it?
Oh my goodness.
Don't say veal, say calf.
Calf veal, but that's a veal liver. Just to
Have
make
we
sure.
come back to
French
comfort
and
food?
Italian.
The other thing that surprised me, I go to a very fine restaurant, go to some fancy hotel, and they're serving meatloaf. Meatloaf. That's what my mother made because she wasn't very good, and that was kind of comfort food. We seem to have come back to comfort food.
You know,
too.
even good meatball.
Yeah. Well,
can be
meatballs,
really
yeah.
good. No, but not the American meatball, the Italian.
Well, make sure you come on Bastille Day. You have a
All right.
French menu with Chef Bruno, Chef Pascal.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
got to make that a thing here. Give us a website, or how do they find out? I'm looking at your website, but tell me what it is. AnaheimWhitehouse.com.
Yes.com.
And there's the story, and there's the menu, and there's the beautiful setting. And if Americans don't know, Bastille
But
Day
make
is
sure when they call the restaurant to say it's Bastille Day menu
Bastille Day menu. Okay.
or Chef Pascal menu, they will understand.
All right. And it's just for that night? It's a special.
Just for the
Well, depends.
special
If he give
celebration.
me the key of the restaurant.
Don't
Well,
say
then-
that to time, you may have it.
the
could eat-
nephew's going to stab you in the back there. He's already
I will call it la Maison Blanche.
But Silvano love you anyway.
All right, thank you so much. What a great story. What between two friends and the history and the evolution of fine dining here in Southern California that has come into its own. I think in the last few years, there's a lot of great restaurants now,
Totally.
and but there's still room for the old goats. Thank you so much for joining us here, guys, on the RAAD Life.